Hi there, and welcome to today's episode. Today, I'm sharing with you 5 lessons that I've learned 5 years in business. Um, this fall is 5 years that I decided to start a business. And those of you who are in business know that roller coaster ride. So today, I want to share with you the 5 lessons that I've learned in the last 5 years. Now, this is not a comprehensive list. There are a whole lot more lessons and more detail that I can go into each. But for the sake of your time, these are just 5 ones that really came to the top of my head when I started thinking about sharing this with you. So let's just get right into it, right? So 5 years ago, I never would have imagined that my business would look or be where it is today and look the way that it does. And looking back, I'm so thankful because what I thought and where I thought I was going to go and where I actually am is actually better than what I imagined. So for those of you who just starting out, hold on loosely. Some things haven't changed, like my heart behind what I'm doing and the verse that reminds me to keep it that way. And for those of you that are curious, that verse is Philippians 2, 3, and 4. And there are more than a few things that I've tweaked along the way, like my tagline and how and where I share my content. And I guess if I'm honest, that will actually be constant. But when it comes to the big lessons and what I would like to share with someone who's maybe just starting out, or even if you're right in the middle of it, it would be these 5. So, learn lesson number 1: you only fail if you quit. We've all heard that, but taking it to heart, not so easy. And this means that you have to take into account everything that you do. You have to make an assessment about it and then the decision to keep moving. Listen, I've tried a lot of things. Some worked, some didn't. I realize now those are lessons. I've taken more than a few breaks, some longer than necessary, but in the end, something brought me back and I didn't quit. And this one's huge when it comes to reframing failure. Obstacles only show up when you're moving. So if there's an obstacle in your way right now, realize that that's kind of a good thing. That means that you're making progress. That means that you are moving. So keep it moving, my friends. And finally, remembering that setbacks are nothing more than an opportunity for an epic comeback. And really that right there has helped me reframe that failure, quote unquote, mindset and learning to take the lesson and always keep it moving. Not always easy, but worth it. Business lesson learned number 2: your core message doesn't really change, but your wording and your marketing about it can and will. What do I mean by that? Well, here's some examples from myself. So my first tagline in my business, was Deana Farrell LLC, and it still is that. But my tagline originally was just encouragement for faith, life, and business. Then my second tagline, and what I had for the longest, was prioritizing focus, empowering growth. To me, that was very clear. To most, it was a little too ambiguous and too cerebral is the word that comes to mind. So I changed it, and my current tagline is restoring faith and focus to everyday life and business. The foundation of my business has always been about encouraging and helping entrepreneurial women. And there are 3 buckets that I strive to deliver that help and encouragement. The first step and bucket, if you will, is to get them solid on their faith. Entrepreneur or not, it's only after you know what you stand for and why are you able to focus on what's next. And what's next is your everyday life. Creating priorities based on your core beliefs, that faith system, is the best way to align your day-to-day life with the future that you want and that you're working for. Now, listen, this is a learned skill that takes practice, but with the right mindset and tools, it's totally doable. It's what the whole prioritized focus method that I teach is all about. And that final bucket, but it's usually the one that we try and bump up to the top of our to-do list. It's our business. Maybe it's because we believe that our business is the answer to our faith and our life woes and the ticket to our desired futures. Now, whether you have a business or it's just the work that you're committing to succeed at, it should be the culmination and intersection of your faith and life, not the focus. So many of us put our business first, then our life, then our faith gets kind of, fill in the cracks here and there. But take it from me, it is not fun to work that kind of backwards, putting your business first, then your life, and then filling in your faith in the cracks. It doesn't work that way. Business lesson number 3. Fill the gap and the people will find you. The right people. What do I mean by that? Sometimes, as soon as you're new to the in business world, I get how easy it can be to follow the gurus. Even now, it can be a battle to put my faith in life before my business, especially when you throw a shiny new expert into the mix. But here's the thing that I've learned and what I've learned. When you spend more time convincing people that you, your product, or your business is legit, it's the real deal, it's fill in the blank, whatever you think it is, it doesn't work. Creating what people tell you to create for other people doesn't work. I sat on this one for a really long time. This one kept me really stuck. And let me say it again. Creating what people tell you to create for other people, it doesn't work. And lastly, this one's tough too. Telling your audience you have the solution to their problem without fully understanding their problem. It doesn't work. And let's talk about audience for a second, okay? When you look at your business and who your quote unquote audience is, that can really trip you up. Because listen, they're not your audience. They're your assignment. When you come to your work and your business from, your heart and your core beliefs, and it aligns with your core beliefs and your life, these people, they're not your audience. They are your assignment. That's what standing in the gap means. That means filling in the gap. You are looking to alleviate a specific pain for a certain group of people that you see and you desperately want to help. When no one else seems to be burdened and bothered by this particular pain or problem that you see in either a group of people or a type of person or a specific, demographic, that's your assignment. So it's so important to stop chasing an audience and creating an audience that all eyes are on you, and flip that to your eyes are seeing what pain people are in and you want to help them. That's your assignment. When you flip that, things change. Keep it moving. Business lesson I've learned number 4. Bells and whistles impress, but they don't always deliver. So before you jump to fulfilling your must-haves by way of marketing and growing your business, you first have to ask yourself, do I really need a fully integrated website, or will just a landing page work for right now? Maybe you need to ask yourself, do I really need all the social media channels, or just focus on one that points them to where I want them to go? Whether that is a website, a landing page, or just a simple email opt-in, or a private message. Think smaller and you're gonna grow bigger. And this, I touched a little bit on this one in the last lesson, but to niche or not to niche, meaning, do you narrow it down or do you go big? Sometimes, yes, a specific group or person works, but other times, depending on your business and what your product is and what your service is, it's a situation or a circumstance that you're helping solve. You need to determine and decide which one works and makes sense for you. I originally went, broad. Well, I've done both. I've started with entrepreneurial women because that's what my heart was most burdened for. And then listening to the gurus and, talking about growing your audience and those types of things, I was like, oh, well, it's all entrepreneurs. And then I realized, no, when I go back to that assignment, when my heart is most burdened for women entrepreneurs. And if I go even further than that, it's Christian women entrepreneurs. Maybe they've lost sight of their faith. Maybe they're overwhelmed in their life. That's what burdens me. That's what God has shown me is my assignment. So I've learned that it's your message that is your best marketing tool. And when you learn to hone in that message, it's like a beacon to your assignment. They're going to come find you. So learn how to clarify your message, because that's your best marketing tool. And when you build your business based on that message, then it will grow. And based on that growth, you'll see what you need next. You'll see if you need that fully integrated website. You'll see if you need to add another social media channel. You'll see if you need to narrow down your assignment a little bit more tighter. And last but not least, I'm going to keep this moving. Learned business lesson number 5. Who you are shows up in what you do. This was a huge lesson for me because I realized that my business was exposing who I was portraying, what part of me I was hiding, and the me that I really wanted to become. And listen, the struggle is still real. Imposter syndrome is a regular battle. But we have to understand, we're not our role, we're not our title, we're not our position. And by trying to be those things, it just leaves us exhausted and always feeling like, there's got to be something more, right? Who you become depends heavily on how you handle your past. And listen, you can allow your past to strengthen you and point you to your future, or prevent you from the one that you want by wallowing in it. Actions always follow belief. So who do you believe that you are? Is it true? I add that question because even though this is between you and you, who do you think you are? I know how tempting it can be to police yourself into giving a quote unquote acceptable answer, right? Even when it's just between us, we're worried about what other people think. We're worried about what that's going to look like. The most powerful exercise that I know of to help you with this is to fill in this blank. I am what? Who? And if you're still struggling with it, I like to go to who God says that we are. And there's an awesome comprehensive list that you can find in Ephesians chapter 1, verses 3 through 14. Now, I'm not going to read that whole passage to you, but I am just going to give you that list that you're going to find in there. You're going to find a list that God says that you are blessed, you are chosen, you are holy, you're blameless, you're predestined, you are adopted, redeemed, forgiven. You are so rich in his grace. You are included through Christ. You have the ability of knowing the truth. You're saved. You're able to believe. You are marked, sealed, filled with the Holy Spirit, guaranteed an inheritance. You are his. And I love this one. You are the praise of his glory. Whew, that's quite a list. Now go back and fill in I am. You could choose a different one for each day. You could choose a different one for a situation, reminding yourself who you really are. Going back to what I said earlier about helping entrepreneurial women, that very first bucket, that very first step that we take is your core values, because what you believe is how you act. And that is true for who you believe that you are and whose you believe you are. Who do you belong to? So I like believing who God says that I am, because after all, he never had to fill in the blank. If you go back in the Old Testament in Exodus 3, verse 14, Moses asks God, who are you? And God says, I am. Boom, that's it. He doesn't have to fill in the blank. He says, I am. That's it. Well, if that's who's telling me who I am, he doesn't even need to fill in the blanks. I'm going to believe who he says that I am. Whew, I could go on about that. Anyway, there are more than a ton of lessons that I could share and even more detail on each one of these 5, but I think that we can agree that these are enough for now. And I will leave you with one of my favorite tools. And for those of you who know me, you know this tool. It is one of my favorites. It's the 30-day Prioritize Focus Planner, and you can get one at deanafarrell.com/planner. I'd love for you to follow me over here, subscribe to this channel. If you want more things like this, you can go over to deanafarrell.com and check out the blog, and also listen to this as a podcast. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.